Hi guys, it is time for me to work on letter V for the hashtag ABCJLC challenge created by the wonderful Jodi Lewis over at Jodi Lewis Creations. Do go check her out. Her link to her channel will be in the description box below. And we've got some nice prompts. They work well together. So, and I'm going to try and do something. I don't know if it's going to work. I also wanted to say, whilst I'm rambling in my head, I forgot to add the tab with the letter on it to last week's one, which was the little UFO that moved up and down. I did actually add a tab to the side on the outside that was in, it was a black tab and it had, I think I did gold. I think I embossed the letter U in gold because it kind of worked with the gold on the paper that I'd used. Anyway, let's get on to today's ones. It is letter V. So prompt 1 was vintage, prompt 2 was velvet, prompt 3 was vowels, and bonus was volume. These work all really well together. And at first I was thinking, let's go with like a yearbook vibe, because I had done a yearbook, sort of my version of one, for one of the prompts in hashtag the Oddtober25 recently, and so that was very much in my head. But I decided against the yearbook, but I'm still going for a school theme kind of thing. So I have all sorts of things. So let's just get started. I want to put some paper on in the background. I have this beautiful rose paper. We also have this. That'd work really well with the pink, the purple. I also have these colours. Would these work with the green? No, we'll use this. This is what I wanted to use originally, so I'll stop playing around and we'll just get on with it. So yes. So my idea for this one, going, oh, that's almost exact size. How amazing is that? My idea for this one was, it's a school teacher. A school teacher who's looking back on her career and thinking about, she's an English teacher, and thinking about the students that she had, and she is just looking back at all her work and all that she's done over the years, and all the students that she has had. So that's my idea. So she's an English teacher, which volume will come into because of the books or volumes of the dictionary. For volume, I actually have a piece of vintage dictionary page that says volume. That might be a sort of simple way to get around it, but that's what I have. And also, that also works then for vintage, because it is a vintage dictionary page. So yeah, all kind of works. Trying to see, will this fit in here? Can I trim it? Yes, just about. Right, I need the word volume, so we're going to do that. That is not straight at all. That's all right, we can straighten it now. And then I'm going to cut this piece out. I need to make sure that I'm actually using the piece that says volume on it. Yep, that's going to work. So I have that about there. So that's what we could have actually done. The pink. Have I glued it down yet? Because I don't know how much more of the other. No, I'm going to go for the rose. This is the paper I first got out, so this is the paper that I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to double think or all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to do it. This will be like this, so we can rip and tear it about here. Okay, that's good. So let's get this glued down first, and then we can do all the rest of the stuff. How far is that up the top? No, I was just wondering if why am I using this? I can use the other one. If when I put the tab on, because I will remember this time, when I put the tab on, will it cover the word volume? I was hoping it wouldn't. So yes, she's an English teacher, and she's just looking back over her years. She's about to retire, and she's such a beloved teacher that the school and the local community are holding a special party for her. She doesn't know yet about the party. And lots and lots of ex-students are coming to wish her luck in her retirement and tell her how much they adored her. And some of them have gone into either teaching or have written books, or are things like work on newspapers and things because of her encouragement and what a wonderful teacher she was, and how she passed on her love of English to her students. So that is what is in my mind, inspired by the idea of a yearbook, but not a yearbook. So I want to move the dictionary page. I also was wondering about using over the flowers, like some tea bag over the flowers, because you would then see it, but it would give it more of a vintage feel. I don't know if I want to now. We'll see. And I also, right, so I have an actual vintage photograph. This was a real person at some point, and I wanted to use this for the vintage. It looks like one of the Tim Holtz ones, but it's not. It is an actual real photograph. I brought it in a whole set, and it's basically, there's loads of this woman from when she was little to here, but doesn't she look amazing? She definitely looks like she's about to retire. She looks very beautiful. And then I had this little Tim Holtz piece that said class book. So I wanted to use this to represent her teaching. So we've got volume, we've got vintage, and so we need vowels and velvet. I want that on there. This was another little Tim Holtz piece. I was wondering about bringing it on as a representation of, you know, like written work. I do like that too. We just have to make sure I do not cover up the word volume at any point. So, or what? These are flashcards, and it reminds me of, you know, when you're learning and the teacher's like, who, where, why, what? When you're learning, when you're being taught when you're little, which I kind of love the idea of too. We can put that on as well. That's okay. We're going to lose some of it, but that's okay too. So I want to just glue the bottom here. Just need to make sure we can definitely see the word volume. Yep. And then I need to glue her kind of onto here so that we can place everything where we want it placed. Yep. Come in with another little colour just down here, possibly. I've also got some of the Tim Holtz fabric washi. I love this stuff, but I don't use it that often. I don't know why. I just never use it that often. Maybe a little bit. Let's put the tab on. This is what I'm going to use for the tab. And let's put this on. Yeah, I prefer that way. And we're going to have to put the letter V on here. So let's, where is my bone folder? Okay, I can't find my bone folder. So, oh, there it is. As soon as I said I couldn't find it, it appeared. Ta-da! Look at that. How wonderful. Now, where... I literally got them out. There they are. I was thinking, I got the letters out. Where did it go to? UV. V, 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 V. And I'm wondering about, where's my little one? That's all I'm saying in this video today. I was wondering about, instead of doing it in black, I'm wondering about doing it in my Versavine Vintage Sepia. That might work with the overall look. If I don't like it, I'll turn this around and I'll use black. But I think I like it. Okay. And we still have to do the alphabet bit. I know, I can hear you saying, Belle, where's the alphabet bit? Don't forget it the way you forgot the tab last time. I won't. Not alphabet, vowels. Now, what I wanted to do for the vowels, I just don't know if it's going to work. So, I guess we will see. And again, that was a very English teacher thing to do, wasn't it? Let's learn our vowels, class. A, E, I. And you'd all be like, oh. I remember actually working in a primary school and having to do the basic English lessons. Primary school over here in the UK is from ages, I'd say about 5. Although it depends on, like, birthdays, can be as young as 4, but 5 up until 10 to 11. And working with the early classes, literally the 5 and 6-year-olds and things, and teaching them story mountains and storyboards and things like that. Yeah, I have memories of that, and trying to teach them what vowels and consonants was, and making a good story. And as I said, the who, where, why, what of a piece. It was always fun. Okay, I've frayed that. I'm going to use it just across here. Like so. Just adding a little bit more texture and definition. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to actually glue these pieces down. I also had this beautiful rose, but I really don't think the rose is going to work. It's quite large, that's the thing. I mean, it could come off the edge. Do we like it? I'm going to say yes. We've covered up most of that rose paper. Frog in my throat. We might as well have just kept with the pink. Okay, so what I'm going to do before I do anything else is I'm going to go around this, and I think I want the ends rounded. Sorry, I was just grabbing my corner rounder and I've just realised it might not work here because of the tab. Okay, we might have to do something with that. Maybe we'll just round the bottom bits. There we go. That'll work. That's okay. So using my ground espresso. Very vintage feeling, this piece. So we have volume. We have vintage. We need to add vowel, and we need to add a little touch of velvet. I actually don't know if I want the red velvet now, or more deep burgundy, or if I think I have some muted autumnal velvets that might work really well with this piece, actually. And again, really have to make sure that I am not covering up the word volume. We have that on there like that. Now, if you don't know, with this challenge, you have to use the first 3 prompts, but you don't have to use the last one. So I wouldn't have had to use volume, but I do need to use the others. So what I was thinking is, for vowels, I wanted to come on with some texture paste just randomly using this stencil, and this is actually an old school stencil. How many of you out there, especially in the UK, remember that when it was time to go back to school, you would get a tin or pencil case and it had all your pencils in it and ruler and protractor and all those kind of things, and there always for some reason was a stencil with alphabets on it. So this is actually one of my children's stencils from many years ago, and I've kept it, and yeah, it's just fun to use for things like this. So we've got A. Bring that off. That A is really bad. Let me try that again. So I'm just going to get rid of that texture paste. Okay, let's try that. Let's clean this of paste first and try it again, because otherwise I was going to use texture paste, but I could just stencil through it, couldn't I? I did want a little bit of texture though. Maybe there was too much texture paste on it. A, E, we've got a small E down here, which I could do. Oh, that's on the velvet. I don't want to do it on the velvet. Does that look like an A? It'll work. A. Then we want E. I'm going to put the E down here. Okay, let's lift that super carefully. Yeah, that works. We could have the eye up here. Does that E? No. I was worried that it had covered up the word volume. I, and then let's clean these. And where are we going to have O? Right, O. What I was actually intending was to do lots of the alphabet and then only make the vowel letters stand out. But actually this works much better. O. And I can get rid of that little bit for P. A, E, I, O. And what's last, guys? It is, of course, the letter U. U for our vowels. I'm trying to do it in a way that I can get this down but not squish the O over there. A little bit more texture paste, just a little bit more there. Okay. Yeah, that's basically a U for our English teacher. So, just want to clean this off a little bit actually. It will get washed, but just try and get as much out as possible with the wet wipe. Okay. And now I'm just going to dry those. So that is now basically all beautiful like so. And I found some green velvet fabric in my stash, and I decided to just trim a little bit off, and I feel like, I'm pretty sure this doesn't tear. Yeah, no, that doesn't tear. I feel like the green velvet represents her dress that she's going to wear to her retirement. That's what this represents. And I'm going to stitch it along the bottom, the top actually, along the bottom. I may even trim it a little bit thinner and just stitch it along there. Okay. That went a bit wrong, but that's all right. Come back on with the scissors. Like so. Let me go stitch this. Okay, guys, so there we go. I actually stitched it in gold thread. It's a bit of a nightmare working with that thread, but I'm hoping you can see it. And it really, because the velvet's is quite a good depth to it, you can't see the gold thread that well. But I wonder if actually I could come on. Actually, hold on. Honestly, that gold thread is a nightmare. You can only really stitch really small sections before it just wants to pop out. But you can see, I hope you can see, definitely see on the back. So there we have it, guys. We need to give her a name, don't we? Shall we call her, what should we call her? Well, it's got to be something like Violet, doesn't it? Mrs. Violet Vanderberg. There we go. Mrs. Violet Vanderberg, the English teacher. And we have, so let's go through it. Vintage photo and a vintage dictionary page. Velvet, beautiful green velvet here. Vowels, A-E-I-O-U. Oh, that's squished a little bit. That's supposed to be the O. That's squished a little bit. I'm going to have to come on and fix that. Do you know why that's squished? That's squished because, guys, it wasn't completely dry. Where's my texture paste gone? Before I went over it with a sewing machine. So, yeah, vowels. Okay, come on like that. And once that's dry, I will go over it again in gold. Perfect. So A-E-I-O-U for the vowels. And volume was the bonus prompt. And we have the word volume because she's looking back at all her volumes of work and what her students did. And we just have a little bit of golden sparkle because she's retiring. And it's a beautiful party. This feels almost shabby chic to me. I'm shocking myself. This is not my typical style. However, it fits all the prompts, it worked, and I remembered to put the tab on in the video. So that's all a win for me. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget, I have a playlist if you've missed any. And don't forget to head over to Jodi's channel to see everything she's been making and put in the hashtag ABCJLC to see what everyone else is doing here on YouTube and on Instagram and places. So I'm back again soon with another video. But until next time, guys, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having lots and lots of crafty fun. Bye for now.